So today's video is a little bit less of a rant and more of a ramble, but I got this thing that I got to get off my chest, and it's this. I am terrified of flying. Okay, so here's the situation. The last time I was in an airplane, I was 8 years old, and I flew from Minneapolis to Seattle with my grandmother to visit my uncle who was still living out here at that time. I do remember some of staying in Tacoma and visiting Seattle and going up on Mount Rainier and all this fun touristy stuff. But here's the thing. I don't remember the flight. Not to or from at all. This will be my first time flying as an adult, and I am terrified. So a little backstory. In a couple of weeks, Dee and I are flying out to San Jose to visit his grandparents and hang out with his sister, and so he can kind of show me around the area that he grew up in and take me to some of his favorite spots. And I'm super excited to kind of see that part of his life because he's met a lot of my family, and it's about time that I finally get to meet some of his. And we're doing this now because we are both finally fully vaccinated and boosted up, and thinking that this might be the best time to go while we have, it's feeling like the best time to go just after the holidays when kind of the travel rush dies off a little bit, and hopefully the plane and the airport's not going to be too crowded. So yeah, we're doing that in a couple of weeks, and this will be my first time flying as an adult, and I have all kinds of anxiety and fears about it. So basically, I don't know if you know this about me or not. I mentioned it briefly in the intro video I made for my channel, but I don't really talk about it much elsewhere. I am on the autism spectrum, and so when I find a new special interest or something that makes me feel a type of way, the first thing I do is I go and learn everything I possibly can about it, which is how I know that we are flying with Alaskan Airlines, and we are going to be on a Boeing 737-900. We are in seats 12A and B, so window seats, yeah, right up in front of the engines and the wings. I haven't mastered what type of engines are on our plane yet, but I do already know where all the emergency exits are and what the in-flight menu is going to be like. Not that we're ordering it, I just know. So I've been reading up and watching videos pretty much on everything that I can find out about how this airline works, how the 737-900 works, and that naturally led me down a very problematic path where I started watching airplane disaster and crash videos. Seeing some of the awful things that can happen on an airplane, seeing some of the things that can completely cripple or disable an airplane and render everybody unalive, for lack of a better word, is very scary, because now in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, these are the worst things that could happen. If my plane goes down, oh my gosh, am I going to walk out of it? Am I going to be okay? What if we have to land in the water? Or what if the landing gear fails? Or, oh my God, what if we lose both engines? Or what if there's a fire on board? And on and on and on. You get where I'm going with this. Now, what I did notice and what I did put together from watching all of these scary plane crash videos is that 90% of them happened in the early 80s to the early 90s. And because of all these different crashes and these malfunctions and these problems, all these things have been fixed, and they've made airplanes a lot safer. So that's one thing that kind of gave me a little bit of comfort. And it's also knowing that there has only been one airplane death, one passenger death in the last, I think, decade, and that was an unfortunate situation with an engine that sort of blew up and took one of the windows out, and that unfortunate passenger got sucked halfway out the plane. Not totally, and they were able to pull her back in, but she did eventually succumb to her injuries. But that's been the first major airline death in the last decade. So it seems like crashes and injuries sustained on an airplane are not common. So I'm trying to keep that in mind and keep my anxiety down. But another thing that I've been doing to kind of ease my anxiety or my fears about aircraft is actually watching plane spotting videos. And there are a lot of folks who stream live from LAX, which is actually the first place we'll be landing in before we catch our connection. And just seeing how many planes take off and land every day, every hour even, with literally no issues and no problems. It's just like, wow, it's like a one in... There's some stats out there. I'm definitely getting it wrong, but it's like a 1 in 1 million chance that you're gonna like die on an airplane versus like a 1 in 100 or something that you're going to like get seriously injured in a car crash. So statistically, it is safer to travel via plane than in a car. The other side of it that I'm worried about is the new Omicron COVID variant. It is said to be a lot more transmissible, even if the symptoms are more mild. And so I've ordered a bunch of N95 masks just to make sure that we have them. And again, you know, we're all boosted up, so hopefully that helps. But still being stuck in a very small aircraft with, you know, gosh knows how many people, and breathing all this recycled air and not knowing who is vaccinated or not, because airlines, to this, as far as I know, aren't requiring that. So I could be sitting just in front of someone who's not vaccinated and very well could be COVID positive, and I have to trust that the vaccines that I have and the mask that I have isn't going to fail me, because I don't want to get Dee's grandparents sick or his family members sick. I don't want to be the person that does that. So I've also been looking into where to get like rapid COVID tests. They're sold out all over Seattle. So hopefully when we land in San Jose, we might be able to find some there that are not, you know, super, super unaffordable. We'll see. Like I said, this was definitely more of a ramble, not really ranting so much. My ask of any viewers is, if you are a nervous flyer or you are terrified of being on an airplane like I am, and you have any tips or tricks for how to keep yourself calm, or if you are somebody that has been flying for a very long time and you've gotten over that sort of nervous flyer feeling, what worked for you, what didn't, what tips could you offer, like to me, myself, and to anyone else who might be watching this who is also scared of being on a plane? Yeah, so thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me rant. No, not rant. Ramble. I'm rambling. I will see you guys probably next year, and in my next video, which will hopefully be calmly and with minimal fuss and no panic getting on an airplane. So stay tuned for that one. Damn. Froggy throat. What am I trying to say? Ugh. I'm not sure where I'm going with this anymore. I turned the camera on and I started filming because I had to rant, and now I don't know what I'm doing. This is 6 minutes of crap. What is wrong with me?